Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome back to the ACG Show and Tell Social Mixer Summer Series, episode number 7. So glad for you all to be joining us, whether it's here live on Instagram Live or later on Instagram TV when it goes up in a few. So welcome you all to the show. So if you're new to this, on this 7th episode, just to let you briefly know what it stands for: anime, comic, and gaming. It's a social mixer place where fans, enthusiasts, performers, creatives, artists of the genre can mix and mingle. And it could bring local communities, those who are into the genre, who find themselves as creators of the genre, together to create something amazing. And of course, with the pandemic going on, I used to do these offline. So now I'm bringing these online to you for the first time. This is episode number 7. So thank you for everyone who's joined us so far as well. And also, as I said, this summer series is sponsored by nerdlike_geeklife Instagram page. So all things related to nerd culture, geek culture, comics, anime, conventions, go to their page and check it out. So it's nerdlife_geeklife Instagram page. Okay. So before I get into my next guest, one of the previous episodes I had Rollo Ledesma. He's a comic book artist, storyboard creator, and also a children's book artist as well. So he sent me a little bit of some of his work. So here I have the work that he did with the German artist and author Marin and Friends. So it's Mimi's and Friends, Mimi's Friends in New York. So thank you for that. So I can't wait to get into this and read this with my kids. Also, here's some of his work as well. And here's some of his more inked work. Looks like it has some characters from his Curves and Bullets line as well. So if you want more about this artist, know a little bit more about his style, as well as his take in bringing cultural representation into the comic industry, and also working internationally with other artists as well, please check him out in one of my previous episodes. It's Rollo Ledesma. So thank you so much for these goodies as well. So I'm going to bring in my guest, and I'll get to introduce him to you shortly.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for joining me so much. And every time I do this, I gotta fix my camera, so let me do that a bit. Okay, so how's it going?
Oh boy, you believe me? I mean, it's been crazy now. Like these months been like passed by like after BuchiCon was over now.
Yeah, we were in PochiCon together, and I also feel the same way. Like after that happened, it feels like that was the last, big convention, and then afterwards it feels like the longest day ever, just going on and on. We don't know what's gonna happen. What's going on, everything.
Like, day 0 pre-set up, and then the actual day con, this has happened already. Like everyone just have all the happy smiles and get their tickets ready.
So I just want to introduce you formally. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Alex Delgado, also known as Triforce Del Jeezy. You can find him on TikTok. You can find him also on Instagram. I'm going to have all the link in descriptions of where you can find him, and the Instagram TV description as well. More about him briefly. He's a avid goer from New Jersey. He goes to all the tri-state anime conventions. He's a TikTok influencer. He does animation, graphic design, video editing, and also creating cosplay costumes and props through foam smithing. Right?
Foam smithing, that's the abbreviation.
Right, yes. So I know I have a lot we're going to go into. So this is going to be a little different from the other social mixers we've been doing so far. So we have a lot of questions, especially you as a hardcore, been doing this for a long time cosplayer. And we're going to do a sort of like Ask a Cosplayers kind of rapid Q&A session here. So how you feel about that?
With confidence, I'm ready to see this.
All right. Yeah. So those of you who are joining us in the audience, this is the social mixer aspect of it. So any questions you have for our virtual guest, Alex, please put them in the comment description below, or you could put them later on Instagram TV when this episode goes up. So we're going to be just going back and forth with a Q&A shoot of, I'm going to ask him questions. He's going to be answering them, giving us his knowledge and just his experience in being in cosplay. Because as we all know, like cosplay is like one of the biggest, especially for young people as we get older, you know, it's going to get even bigger than it is now. So to see those who've been doing it for years and sort of be more than just a hobby, you know, we want to get a little bit of that opinion as well and his perspective on that. So, of course, my first question to you is, what made you get into cosplay?
Well, a lot of my high school friends kind of, did a Halloween around junior high or high school. I mean, I did like all sorts of video game characters like Mario, Dr. Mario, Luigi, Sonic, and hit a Goku. And last day of my senior year, I was gonna like go hardcore, and that's when I bring Link, the hero of time from Hyrule from Legend of Zelda. It was like kind of like remade, like I had to make the shield myself, just painted, you know, make like a party pop if I would have found the actual shield to sort of like get into cosplay.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, that sounds cool. I guess like, you know, I think every time when I see someone that does a Zelda character, it's always amazing how elaborate they go out, especially with the props, you know, because it's more than just the costume itself, the props as well.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the years with like when cosplay Sancho Link, I mean, it just like grown out like each game generation, like it passed by. I mean, yeah, I played one at a time, and first like one Dora's Mask, and I just followed up to like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Breath of the Wild. I mean, all those games are like, wow, they just created like so much out of my character out of it. It's like I just wanted to just like go all out with like all my Link cosplays I have assembled.
Right, yeah. I think for me, Ocarina of Time was one of the first that I mean, I knew about Legend of Zelda for a while with NES, but I didn't get into it as much until Ocarina of Time, and then I went from there. My next question for you is, what was your first cosplay that, whether you brought it or just your cosplay in general, what was your first one, and why did you choose that one?
No, I gotta say Link. Well, obviously, that's like the conspiracy of my, you know, pride in my cosplay. So it's like, I know, yeah, I brought a few like scrap clothes because I know buying the actual prop because I did not know first. So I made like a bunch of scrap clothes. I just brought a garage sale, prop store, the shield, basically like pan painted them and just like bought them from scratch. And the hood itself, I kind of just like use like a camp like, you know, bag around there. I'm pretty sure I need to upgrade that a little bit sooner or later, you know, until con season kind of resumes.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be talking about that soon. So for your first cosplay, would you say that you should prove a lot from that? Do you feel like you look back at it now and you're probably like, oh my God, you know, I always hear that from cosplayers when I tell them ask them about their first cosplay to now.
Yeah, it's kind of grown when I just like did Link a little bit more like advanced around there, especially with the Breath of the Wild Link. And I saw like the game trailer around there. It's like, oh, I gotta make the shield itself like throughout the game when he's like adventuring. So it was pretty little bit hardcore, just like making it, just, you know, foam smithing, using like styrofoam foam, and then cardboard just cover a whole piece like all together. Especially the weapons too. I mean, those are a little more advanced to make around there.
Yeah, they seem like it. When I see some of them in the pictures, I'm just wondering, like, how is that even possible? But, you know, it's all about taking that creative process and doing something that you love, going with it. So I know that you're very... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and the Fierce Lake DDR was my toughest one I had to wear on. And that's kind of like, although as I started doing, like, armor cosplays to do that. Yeah, it's very happy to do that. But the hardest part was, like, sitting around, like, in a chair.
Oh, yeah.
And frustrated is like eating around with us to like just move around. But like, I just need my stage just so you do that because I have like a big prop to carry along.
Yeah, I've seen pictures or videos of cosplayers when they have those elaborate costumes and how they have to, you know, sort of like if you see it in the movies, how they have to sort of sip through a straw to eat the drink, or they have to open their mouth a certain way to eat certain foods. You know, they have to really be careful if they have props or any kind of special effects on. So I know you're a very big follower in the cosplay industry, and you're also an avid cosplayer. You go to the convention. So how involved do you feel you are in the cosplay community for yourself?
Well, I pretty much more involved. Like, you know, I just went like above around there. First, I kind of started like going like anywhere local, like New Jersey cons. Just go little, and then when I just jumped in, it's like, okay, it's like my time. It's like, I got a little bit older. That's the time I had to like I shoot for KatsuCon. That was like big con that just didn't impact. It's like I see there's many people out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, going
Right.
on stage is like kind of a good experience to do that.
It's so interesting you say that because that makes me think about what you want to talk about, like when people, not just conventions, they also go to movie premieres as well. Like, why do you think that is something that, cosplayers do or just people do in general? Why is it such a big thing to go to a
Oh
movie premiere
yeah,
in a costume?
I think it's like all the superhero movies, like the Avengers that first came out, Endgame, and I sometimes with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I do like dress up like in cosplay,
Oh.
go like in the movie theaters. But I had to like be cautious with the rules for like the mask rule to do it. I mean, I don't even wear that thing on around there. Oh, as for Detective Pikachu, I was lucky enough that they would ban the face painting when I was walking in the theater. When he's like announcing, it's like, oh guys, like I got so lucky. I just like went in the theater, just cosplay Detective Pikachu, and just like strolling just in the premiere opening night.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember when they did bring that rule on, it was really interesting. So I could imagine how that, like, I think about Rocky Horror Picture Show, when that's a very interactive kind of show, and you have to, some people dress up, and so to be able to have those limitations, I understand for safety reasons, of course. So I get that. So shows like that are very interactive, it makes me wonder, like, which we wanted to go into the next question of, like, how is that just not only movie theaters, but conventions? How do you think that's going to be, in your opinion, moving forward, after this whole pandemic?
I'll still like just do like cosplays, like any movie particularly, just like, okay, we got another Avengers game, another Avengers movie again, like any particular superhero. I see another Disney movie. I was hoping like live action Little Mermaid. I don't think it's like still a thing to me now because I just hear there's like rumors that do that, but I love that I just get to my Prince Eric cosplay that I normally wear around there. Plain simple. Simple and easy enough, and I'll get someone to cosplay as Ariel too.
Right. So you think those kind of costumes are going to be like, I guess if we have to do cosplay or costumes or we have to wear any kind of get-ups for, if conventions do physically come back, like do you think they'll allow for like the elaborate armor or something simple like you said, like the Eric ones?
Yeah, just like the easy cosplays, that symbolize the character of in the movie.
So I always wonder, like, what's going to happen with those. So with the quarantine happening, how have you been shaping up with that?
Oh, well, after Poochie was over, well, I know when PoochieCon was over, I mean, everyone's just going to get ready to get, like, last-minute things, like, before lockdown. And I went to a Dragon Ball photo shoot, like, right before New York City was going to be locked down, right before the sun sets around there. So I pretty just got out of a jam, just like getting through that day right before it closes and back. It was like a 7-hour photo shoot, though. Yeah, it's really hard to do that. But after that, when lockdown happened, I just get to be like, mess around TikTok a lot often. It's like, I just like browse out like 2 hours, like what could I create? And it's like, oh, there's a lot of Pokemon out there. Disney to do that, and a few old shows. I'm just like, I just grew out from the years. Yeah,
I think that's.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Like if you're a major TikTok, I see like all these skits like everywhere around there. But by most of the time around there, I mean, I'm still working though. It's still like I had to like survive this whole pandemic.
Yeah, I think what's gonna come to is just knowing, especially like we haven't heard anything. I've been speaking to this with my past guests. We haven't heard anything about what's gonna happen with New York City Comic Con or the Anime Con happening with that. So we're still waiting for the word on that.
I spoke with Dean about that one too. So we're just he's keeping up with like all the New York City whereabouts and all. Do that.
Right. So we're just, I guess, cross our fingers and see what happens. But safety first is always first and foremost important when it comes to these things. So I want to go back into your cosplay as a hobby. You see it as a hobby. I see it as something that you professionally do. Where do you see yourself in 10 years when it comes to cosplay creation or just cosplay dress up?
I see this cosplay dress up and a lot more creation. I mean, I see myself 10 years. I would just have my kids right about now if they're like into that stuff. I mean, I would imagine that'd be a possibility. Like, I see a lot of old cosplays and, have a small portfolio, especially all like the, guests that are appear around the con around there. I mean, believe me, I already just met Veronica Taylor, Jordy Benson, Tara Strong. I mean, any of those shows like almost related, like through like further down the years. I mean, they probably just like do this for one day to experience.
Yeah, it's so interesting to know, like, especially if you have children, like myself, I have two little ones. It's like, there's this, how to take what you do as cosplay and then have them do it as well. So it's sort of like passing on that tradition in a sense. Sort of like what the Star Wars fans been doing forever and the Star Trek fans as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord of the Rings fans, you see them and then their kids, and it's like almost passed down and it's like a tradition in a way. So I also want to talk about your preference. Do you prefer homemade or commission brought cosplay, and why?
Oh boy.
Or it depends.
Yeah, I know I do most of my cosplays like from scratch around there. So I pretty much just like do a lot of sketching, a lot of shape patterning. If I gotta make like a cosplay that's gonna be fit for me, I could just like move around them. And it's particular with like, buying cosplay. If I'm gonna do that, it's like Katsucon like for push the next year right then. I mean, it's not the same time and money, I mean, like cosplay whatever character like you need to do. And just have to like build a budget just a little bit. So like have the cash to do a cosplay. You want to buy it, so get the wallet. If not, I always like switch to like make the cosplay crafts.
Right. So that does go back to what Dean was talking about, like just cosplay and budgeting and planning things out for yourself.
Yeah, I even got like one more cosplay to craft. And after that, it's like I'm pretty much like done crafting, but I'm still gonna like do a little more cosplay, content to build up. It's really like hit the end of the year.
So going into that, when it comes to, let's say, making or, doing the homemade cosplay, do you prefer the sewing, the armor making, or the wig working process?
I like the armor making. That's like my most preference to do.
Why do you like that one over the others?
No, I just do a little more like, body shaping just to like have the right size to do it. I'm not much of like a sewer. If I would have owned a sewing machine, though. I would just get my fingers like bleed out just to like, have like the right texture. And I haven't touched up on wig designs, but like it's kind of a new experience. Just so you can customize like any wig that you recently bought, and you have to like make the wig out of it. How you do that?
Right, yeah. I could imagine the whole armor making process. It's like you said, you have to really know body measurements, and depending what type of armor style you do, if it's going to be molded, is it going to be sort of just, just measuring the centimeters and things like that as well.
Yeah, and
so for yourself, go ahead.
And it starts with like multiple body parts too. That was my most challenging thing. Like, when after Katsu was over, I said I'm gonna like do my Zero for Mega Man X, and I got through that whole process. I took like 5 months making it, like February.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 months. I mean, I just got it down like June now.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Because I saw the final product and I was like, wow, that for know that took that amount of time. Do you feel like it took that? Is that considered a short amount of time because of COVID quarantine, or you think?
I think it was a lot more time just because of COVID. It's like where anything like open up and then closed like throughout this pandemic. I mean, I spent most of my time just doing that. It was worth it though. I mean, I had to do something like that if this happens again.
Right. So with the Mega Man Zero costume, I think that might have been the latest one I saw from you. Do you have any idea what your next 3 ones are going to be?
My next 3 for I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like for like my next armor to do that because I'm just looking through it though. Like what can I just like do like for next year? I mean, I can do Mega Man X. I mean, my brother went as Mega Man, just like the old school Mega Man, and then I want to like jump into like the Mega Man X. See it as like future self to do that.
So for your cosplay creations, and the ideas that you come up with, how do you do that? Do you just is it something like, I just want to decide to be this person or be this character, or is it something that you decide like from research? How do you decide what characters you're going to be?
I just like decided on research, or I recently wore that character. I mean, the Zero cosplay. I mean, I just wore that like 2011 when it was like old cardboard shape. Just like I gotta improve that one, just like new and improved. Because I kind of like started with cardboard, just in like further down like college years, and I kind of just build up just to like craft more, like when I could just do my hands-on into cosplay and crafting.
So it's sort of like, in a sense of a way, sustainable cosplay, right? You just take pieces from your former cosplay, or you take an old cosplay and, you've been practicing throughout the years and you just fix it up. You make it much more grander from what you first did. So that's amazing to know, like, there's such a thing as sustainable cosplay, and just using what you have before and adding that to other cosplay items. What's another product you've done that with? Taking like old cosplays, maybe broke it apart or made it bigger?
I would just like, older just to like just make it much bigger, because, it takes a lot of pieces though. When you use something recently, you have to like remodelize it. I did have actually like a couple props, and I did run a couple samples of my Zero cosplay, to be honest, around there.
Yeah, I see that.
And then I just started like designing like armor shoes to do that. That was my toughest challenge. I just like done already.
All right. So what was so the material you used for that? What material is in these items?
EVA foam, mostly foam sheets, just to like cut out, and use fabric just to like for the footwear, like from down and then inside of this. I mean, when you're wearing something like this, I mean, you gotta like sanitize the inside of it. You don't want to get your feet like smell in there. Just have to rewear.
Right. I hear you. Especially if you're gonna reuse it again. So you're also thinking, sustainability and sanitary wise when it comes to cosplay. So you have a lot of great ideas for your cosplay. Not just what you're gonna wear, but like how you're gonna use it from here on out. So that's a good mindset and perspective when it comes to creating, reusing cosplay when you need to. So going into cosplay and the different characters you have created or have been, how did you discover cosplay? Because cosplay to me is something that, I knew about dressing up for Halloween and costumes, and cosplay for me is something I would see once in a while with conventions, and then now that conventions are big, how did you discover cosplay?
Let's see. College, I would just like start out from, because I recently joined like the anime club back in like a community college. Just say, oh, you guys like do those now, like dress up, video games, and like all these like community events you get doing around there. I just got into that when they announced it. Like, you went to this already, like Comic-Con, to go there and just meet and greet the person. And then I just started like going to Animenext with my first con.
Oh, that's great. So I'm gonna take a pause on the quick shoot questions we have here to answer some questions from the audience. So someone wants to know, where did you get your hat from, or did you make it?
Oh, this one, I just bought it like during Liberty City Anime Con. It's like the Sun and Moon series from Pokemon.
Oh, was that someone had made that at the Liberty City Anime Con?
I said, I gotta get one of those since I'm gonna do like a Lola Ash. Especially the shirt I bought, because Billy, it's kind of like my comfortable cosplay like they're wearing for the summer.
Right, yeah. So that's good to know, like, you know that there's cosplays that you wear seasonal cosplays, right? In a sense. That's an interesting perspective on things. So someone else asked, you're wearing Ash, so why is Ash your favorite character?
Well, I just grew up like watching Pokemon, like when it started out in the Kanto series. Yeah, I know, striving to be the best. That's kind of like everybody's like try a little bit harder. And like for those 20 years, I mean, just watching it out, he finally just won his first like Alola League. I know ours doesn't count. I mean, it's only like one champion, and then all the others, you guys got thrown in and like he's wasted around there. Like he was like a little close around there, but he got instincts. So I give him that.
Yeah, I think the message that even for a kid, Ash, the way he is, you see his character develop, so that allows for like, him and the viewer to connect. So that makes it, a much more, important character to be, to want to cosplay. So my other question is, so someone asked a question about Pokemon fighting. So they said, how do you feel about, sort of they compared it to, when the chickens fight, the cockfighting ring. So what do you think about Pokemon fighting in that sense?
I have like a few like meetups gags like doing that. Like, you dance there around just like during Animenext in Atlantic City and just looped around. I mean, I see the group of Team Scrolls like did in the escalator. They just play their theme song. It's like, I'll record this already. That's sort of like all the Pokemon fights like actually happen at a con.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. I always wondered about the Pokemon too. I think I used to tell my sister, because she grew up watching Pokemon, I would tell her, like, what do you think they eat in the Pokemon world? Like, they must eat Pokemon, right? Like, and she just was like devastated for a while, but then she got over it. But, I think it was horrible for me to tell her that at that young age. Like, what do they eat in the Pokemon realm in the world? So somebody else asked, so your Legend of Zelda, your Link, or your Legend of Zelda cosplay, do you have pictures of that? Maybe you could like put on your stories on Instagram or TikTok so people can see that.
Yeah, I got a lot of those. Like, TikTok, I just like done a few Link skits. I mean, I have like 7 versions of Link. Like, it's pretty a lot to do. I mean, maybe go seasonal. Hopefully TikTok will last because I hear like a lot of people say like Trump's banning it. And I'm just like, please don't make it happen, man. And then surviving quarantine doing TikTok, it just made a huge impact and influencing others that done like a lot of cosplay doing TikTok.
Right,
because I always post TikTok Tuesday, and there's like one of them go weekly, and I tag the person I did the duet with. That's right.
I wanted to get into that, like, because we didn't put in the questions here, the random questions, but I wanted to improv that, ad-lib that question. So with TikTok, tell me the process. Like, how do you create those? You do those little skits with the TikTok other performers as well. What goes into that process? Fan
skits, yes. As I started it, let's see. I just started a little bit. Like I started using the app like January, like after PowCon was over. I posted let's see, a couple Ash skits. Ariel and Perez just like looping around. I mean, like a clip like during like Comic-Con, and I kind of built a little bit when I just got into like more Disney content. It's like, I'm gonna do all of those, and it's just a hashtag I have to look through. It's like you get all your research to do that.
Right, I really enjoy looking at those. Like Alice Bergen said here, your TikToks are entertaining. Yeah, they're really great. That was the first time I've actually seen stuff like the TikTok being used like that, because I'm a teacher and most of my students use it for dancing or whatever. So, the usual dancing or things like that. So to see that, during quarantine, you used it to create those skits, it was really, a very interesting performance and perspective. And I hope you and the other guests continue to do those.
Yeah, I'm sure hoping we get through the whole pandemic.
Right. But, you have that in the meantime. And now that Instagram has the new thing, have you heard Reel? They're using Instagram Reel now. That's supposed to be imitates the copy version of TikTok. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I heard about it. I mean, I just looked at it. They just recently added that icon. I was like kind of surprised. Right. It's like, I didn't know this feature. It's like, I had to like try it out, like, whenever I get a chance to. I always like put the video for like a few seconds, and then everyone just looking at my Instagram cosplay stories, like behind the scenes. It's kind of, I mean, I haven't tried it, but we'll eventually by then.
All right, so that's good to know. Like, is it going to be, the next TikTok? Who knows? We'll see what happens. If it's going to be the TikTok killer or something, to see what happens with that. So let me jump back into these quick Q&As here. So when it comes to cosplay conventions, have you ever been in a contest? And if so, who did you cosplay as and did you win?
Well, I just like did like a lot of cosplay contests, but I did got like a, let's see, judge favorite back in Liberty City like 2018. I think 2 years. Yeah, because most of those cons, I mean, it always lands on my birthday whenever I got a convention going on there. It's like I had to make something that possible. Like everyone just like what to do, like going to a con is like when your cosplay's all together. I even have it actually on me too. I just got the
sure.
Yeah,
let's see, no problem. Oh, that's amazing! Wow.
Yeah, I've been saving this for like during Liberty City after the 2 years now.
Wow. Do you keep that somewhere like in your room? That's
And yeah,
nice.
I
Or you,
kept it in my garage, and now I just living in my room, like till my birthday hits. It's like I want to have a display. It's like for the
oh, so
time.
when your birthday comes, so you take it out when your birthday. No, that's actually a cool idea. Like, okay, birthday's here. Take this out. No, that's awesome. That's amazing. That's great work.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. It's like
So,
no, I know that's like a month or so. Just like if it hits at a convention on my birthday, and then whatever cosplay I'll be doing, it's like I just went all out. I just like make like the Pikachu birthday cake out of this. It took a lot of time just doing this, especially like
is that also the foam smithing? Is that the same thing?
yeah, especially the ears. It's like the pink foam is just like used. It's just to like make the ears.
Nice. That's great work. That's great. So I wanted to get it. So actually, it's funny we talked about the cake and the creation of it and foam smithing, which is our next question. How did you get into that? How did you realize that I want to use that product, that material?
But it's kind of like I just like I could make it like if I get like commission where like I had to make like armor pieces to do that, masks to do that, even like all those Zapdos masks I just like made like so far.
Yeah, I saw those pictures of the Zapdos. They were pretty cool. So it's like, how much like product do you have to even use of that to make, especially the mask, to make something like that?
Yeah, well, sometimes I do like in Michael's around there. If I like buy like a pre-built one and then you design it, and I thought of it just like I gotta like put all the phone, just like handmade it. I even got the masks too.
Oh yes,
like,
definitely show us.
Like, each of the
loving these
around there. So there's like the Kanto Zapdos around, and there's like the Galarian Zapdos. Like once like the Tundra for Sword and Shield drops in.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I gotta keep these like for cosplay, memories just to do these.
So when you do these, the foam smithing, before you get into the whole process, do you go through like a sketch or a blueprint process with prior?
Yeah, I always kept those. Like, if I'm just gonna like make something out of it, pre-sketching and like draw out an outline, how like it will turn out. Even cuts is kind of like the foam is like tricky part to do that. I always had to use the heat gun just to like have it more bendable. Especially like like the other parts as well. It's kind of tricky to do that. I just want to like cover it all together. I always use foam sheets to do it instead of like if I'm gonna use like spray paint, like I don't want like paint to get like crack a little bit when you use the spray paint, but I prefer like if you're gonna make something like a mask to do it, I just always use like foam sheets to do that.
Right. No, that's a good process. And it's like you're learning from the process as well, like what works, what don't work. You learn from trial and error, and then you take that with you in the process of crafting. So that's a great, tool of the trade that you've learned when it comes to cosplaying. I think so many people kind of don't talk about those processes much, So it's interesting to hear from someone that does cosplay that, those little intricate details as well. The next question I have here, so we're jumping around, because this is the random shoot Q&A here. So those of you who are just joining us, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions for my virtual guest, again, this is Alex Delgado, ATA Triforce Del Jeezy. Please leave a comment below or when we go on Instagram TV. So next question is, when it comes to your confidence, how has your confidence grown during this whole cosplay process?
Well, the process of all this cosplay is like, quite more challenging. I was gonna like make it much I could do possible, even through quarantine. I mean, I had to like buy like a lot of time, like doing something, just to like be more productive instead of just like browsing the web. I had to like do all my research, and I had like all my sketches all laid out. Yeah, even for virtual cons, like if cons would be canceled, I mean, they have to like bump it up to virtually to do that. If you want to showcase your cosplay, I mean, I did for Tropicon or like from last Sunday. It was like a one day to do that. I know everyone just showcased all their cosplays, their video skits, and a couple of pictures like side to side.
How is that? I could imagine like just virtual cons versus real life conventions, how they are. Like I'm sure confidence could get questioned and nerves could rise, especially if it's something you gotta especially the virtual experience? Like, how has that been with your, as far as confidence building for you?
Well, I always had to communicate through Discord, like wherever cons would be canceled, and everyone just like hop in the Discord chats, and I see all their cosplays, like to like for judging around us. So, oh my god, you guys like make a lot more progress to do that, even throughout this pandemic.
Right. So it's basically kind of like you've seen other people and not kind of comparing. It's just knowing that you have your own process that you're creating your cosplay, and just really is enjoying seeing each other's progress, like how they're progressing through this whole, with cosplay as well. So do you prefer photo shoots? So we talked about photo shoots before, and do you prefer them at the actual convention or like an actual, or like a specific special location?
Well, I gotta go with, if it were to happen like the actual convention, but during pandemic, I kind of like did a little like self photo shoots, like if I just made my costume. If I didn't find any photographer, that's like I had to do like a secret location just to meet them if I want to get new shoots of my cosplay.
What was your favorite, or I guess best location that you've done one so far, as far as photo shoots?
Yeah, I think the good spot, I gotta say, Katsucon near the Gaylord Resorts. You can get the whole view from the waterfront from there. That's what everyone wants to do, that just to like get some photo shoots outside. And it was kind of like downside with cold weather versus hot weather.
Right. Yeah, I could imagine that makes a difference. I know I saw some other cosplayers put up when Katsucon was around, and they were putting up their pictures as well, and it looked like a great time. How was that experience with Katsucon?
Oh, it's like a party jamboree down there when it gets in the nighttime around there, and everyone else got their photo shoots like day 0, and then day 1 just started to kick in. It was like most crowded, like kind of just like went to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw some pics. It looked pretty lively. I was like, wow, is this like what happens in Katsucon stays in Katsucon, like Vegas style? Like, it looked like it was a lot going on there, so from some of the pictures I saw. But, it makes me wonder, we talked about previously, like what's going to happen with now post, pandemic, like what's going to happen with these conventions that made a living and also made a community and a culture around that as well.
I'm gonna imagine. I mean, also don't have to like wait till this whole pandemic's over. I'm just hoping Katsu will like resume like next year or so. Remember, just like getting updates. I even start planning.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are planning out next year's cosplay for KatsuCon, and then it's worth saving up. Well, of course, there's MagFest. It's the same location as Katsu. Believe me. It's like, and I know that's like a 4-day con. Well, Katsu is still like a 3-day. I wish it was a 4-day for Katsu. I mean, that would have been like, it could go up of a bed.
Right. Yeah. So going back to the pictures, right? That we talked about photo shoots and your preference. As far as wearing a cosplay outfit, which is your favorite cosplay photo of yourself?
Oh boy, I gotta say Powerline from Goofy Movie, because I know I just made that happen like during KatsuCon. I already passed already. And I got like pretty good shoots. I even got a photographer that does video editing. They could put a preview of like a trailer. I know he's having a good job around there, but it has to be Post Malone next year to be on stage.
Right. I saw that outfit, that cosplay costume. It was great. I mean, the cosplay was amazing, and you really did so much with it. Not just dress up as it. You did the role play as it. The music with it as well. The video editing, like you said. You went really full range with that cosplay outfit, so I got to give it to you as well.
Yeah, I even saved those on TikTok too, like all those dance skits, and they have like the actual footage of like the actual character like performing on stage. I mean, I've done it a couple of times. If I were to be on stage again for like a cosplay masquerade, I mean, it probably will happen like if everything goes back to normal.
Right. Yeah. So as far as we mentioned about homemade versus store-bought cosplay costumes or materials, where do you go? You mentioned Michael's. So are there other stores that you go to for materials, or if you just want to purchase a full cosplay outfit?
Usually eBay, mostly, finding like a cheaper brand for a costume. And I just saw like Spirit Halloween just gonna like open up pretty soon because of like, oh, I'll just see any costumes or if they're gonna open, and had to keep my eyes which one I should wear. I even order like stuff on TNT cosplay. That's why I just get all my foam sheets to do that, and all the eBay foam materials I got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it's about Spirit Halloween. And, I'm surprised. I didn't even know they were going to still open up because I haven't heard much about Halloween plans. Like, even that, like, what's going to happen as well.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'll just like go in like all in full costume and probably just be almost like, watching Halloween movies like that. That's like I normally do. Or kids like going trick-or-treating by then.
Yeah, it's something like my kids. I always dress up with them for Halloween, so who knows what's going to happen this year. I told them that we'll probably be Mortal Kombat characters because at least they still could wear a mask. Like some of the Mortal Kombat
really
characters.
Good safety in the cosplays and Halloween.
I think that's what most people are going to do as well. I think PucciCon actually put a good article about some cool cosplay costumes you could make or wear. They show Kakashi and others. So that was a cool article they found and they posted it on there. Mm-hmm. So if people need more ideas, they could check it out there. So let's go back to cosplay. You said you've done cosplay contests before. Have you done any cosplay panels? And if so, what was the theme behind them?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, PucciCon was kind of like, I had to like start my hands-on with. I started like doing a trivia panel. I think it was a Pokemon one. That's when PucciCon like started being announced. And now from this already past Pucci, I just jumped like to 2 panels. I did Phone Smithing 101 and I did like a Disney trivia panel. If there was a lot of kids were showing up, but the day one from Pucci, when I saw that big, was that, oh my god, that's like a lot of attendees because like the teacher like did the field trip, just like bought the tickets. So if I just show like experiencing like years like going to a con and treat their students just to like go to a field trip, just to like go to a convention when they graduate from high school.
Yeah, I think that's a new thing now. Like, I took a couple of former students of mine to New York Comic Con. That was like hard to convince, the principal how to do that, but we always have to find an educational theme behind it to do that. And I think the panels also are important as well. So if you find a way to twist, so this is for cosplay conventions out there. If you find a way to twist your panels or conventions to be educational, like the way Six Flags does sometimes, you'll get a lot more, educators interested in attending. So a lot more money coming into your convention. So next thing is we talked about cosplay armor and just wearing it and some of the intricate outfits and how it's difficult to eat or sit down. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer the characters you cosplay with or without any props?
Let's see. I've done like, with the Fearsome Deity with the sword around there. I mean, I can still eat a little, like, reach my food, but the only bad downside, I had to, like, I've had to, like, rest, I had to, like, put my arm, like, in the armor, just go under it. It was kind of the most challenging part when I just brought my Fearsome Deity during, like, every state Animenext. And everyone else was walking around the subway and say, oh my god, I love your costume.
Oh.
I handmade it, though. Like, I made it all myself.
Oh, I could imagine taking the subway. It's always cool, especially when the conventions come around and you see the people dressed up. And I feel bad sometimes the ones that can't sit down and they have to just stand up in that crowded train. So it's crazy. But I also wanted to go back into what's the most. So I think someone also asked this question too. What was the most difficult cosplay you've done? You feel when it comes, it could be either crafting or just wearing. What would be the most difficult cosplay for you?
If we're constantly going back, I mean, I gotta say 0 for Mega Man X. I mean, all those parts. I mean, it's gonna be hot, like the whole armor, and I can still like move around and I have to walk slowly. So that's gonna be the most challenging thing to do that. And taking pictures of it, it's gonna be more difficult to wear. Actually, I even put down a TikTok for that one, like those cosplay like Q&A to do that. I mean, I'll just give that a shot, and I just did it around there. It's those questions, and then here are all your answers there.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine the difficulty in like having to wear something like that and keep your composure, especially if you're sweating inside that armor or wearing that costume as well. So going to back to another question that's also related to building confidence in cosplay and how that's been around your building that as well. If you could tell your past self, so if you could tell yourself at a younger age anything that's related to cosplay, what would you tell yourself?
I was gonna be productive, like I always do that. So I mean, past self, like I was still like, still crafting. I do like so many sketch work and like I feel like almost like video game related, and I some anime I normally watch to do that, and that's kind of like I went to high gears like doing the cosplay to more characters and more like crafting to do. It's like a lot of building progress.
So it's just all about having that patience, right? And just that, just understanding the process of things. I'm sure comparing yourself 10 years ago and now it's made you've probably made a huge difference and don't make those same mistakes twice.
Yeah.
So let's give some couple of shout outs to some cosplayer friends that you know, or maybe cosplayer creatives. So what are some of your favorite cosplayers? So you're a favorite of others, myself included. What are some of your favorite cosplayers? Maybe with those that influenced you or those that you look up to as far as their style and their creation?
Wow. I gotta stay with Fairwind Cosplay. I mean, she is a performer, actor, and she's a mermaid performer too down there. And then when I saw her TikTok, I was like, when I started it, I said, "Oh my god, you got a lot of followers!" Like, it's like you're just building that passion around there. It's like it's just going up. I was like, I don't have like any cosplays, but a few duets, and then keeping those like skits to do that. It's kind of a more mellow, but I always looked up to her though, like kind of like a role model.
Right. Yeah, because it's like you're seeing her process and how she does her cosplay and, use some of that for your own cosplay creation as well. Make it your own. So, let's see. Last question before we get into the final question I always pose everyone is, what's the most detailed cosplay costume you've ever done?
Detailed most cosplay. Yeah.
That had a lot of details in it, or took long, or
yeah, I gotta say
a lot of little pieces.
The longest cosplay I just done, and then you had to the whole like arm piece, the helmet, armor itself, the leggings, and the shoes. Especially the X-Saber. It took like months making that one. It's did by like multiple like robotics parts to make it happen. Like all of them like EVA foam, and believe me, it's months making that. It's like took a whole pandemic when summer starts.
Right, yeah. No, I saw that costume. That was really detailed and amazing stuff to get done there, and like you had the time to do it, I'm sure. And then the blueprints you said. So there's a lot that goes into this cosplay creation, from your own creativity, making it your own unique cosplay costume. But we can't forget the planning and the budgeting, the materials as well that goes into that creation process. Of course, entertaining, because you add that piece to it, you add the entertaining piece that makes it much more lively of wearing it. So before we get into the last question, I want to go into what you have to show us. I know you said you had a few items that you wanted to show us as well. I know you showed us some throughout the Q&A.
Those rings. I know I did a couple of showings like throughout this whole life did. Yeah,
that's cool.
It was easy enough. I designed like the wings itself based on comparison to like the original Zapdos. Well, like Kando Zapdos were like widespread and like all pointy. Well, Galarian Zapdos kind of like going sideways around there. And like I saw the picture when I saw the trailer from Pokemon Sword and Shield when Galarian Zapdos. It kind of reminded me of the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I see that reference right there, man. It's like running around.
I see you trying to pick up that. Is it heavy? Because I see you picking up with two hands. Is that wing heavy to put on?
Not really. It's like,
because I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like I just like it doing sideways, so I have to like. Move
okay. So you have
I just have to run around in place and walk.
Yeah, so you have the straps, so that's good. You have to keep it in place. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see. I got a box of Scooby snacks.
Oh, interesting. So that would be an easy prop to carry, I suppose, you know?
Yeah, I just made this one, during the premiere opening for Scoob. I know I watched it virtually. Like, I bought the movie and I already saw it like 3 times already. It's easy. You only need a cereal box, cover like the cereal box and paint it, and just like cut out some like letters just to like represent the logo.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great stuff.
Yeah, it's a kind of like hands-on. It's easier to make something like this out of it. You can go like find the actual box of Scooby Snacks.
So I think like your process is very, it looks like it's very detailed, but also you make very simple, materials as well with it. Use very simple products, very simple materials like cardboard, the foam, and even, using the process of the glue gun. That's something that even young children could eventually learn to do as well. And it's a process that, it's not difficult for most people. It's just having the planning process, that having the patience to be able to do that, that next level thing.
Yeah. Oh, I did got one more too. Like,
Okay.
the bottom teeth like from Galarian Zapdos. It's the same one, just like the original one. I know his color was kind of like, orange, and now it's getting like, reversed to like yellow to orange now. Look,
you made that from a tire? It looks like it's a tire. Is that
it's even phone. And wish it was
I was about to say, how you carrying that?
just to like, just put it around my waist and just like run with it.
Oh, that was like, yeah, that's very detailed. That's very intricate as well. Because when you put all the pieces together, very great.
Right on my tee around there, and just have to like get my wings to do that and just walk in place.
Yes, thank you. So that sums up our quick shot Q&A, of random, questions. So I do thank you for being a participant in that as well. And those who are on Instagram Live as the audience, thank you for tuning in as well. So we're coming down to the wire for Instagram. I always say, kicks me out, kicks us out. Give us an hour.
Yeah, of course.
So I give my final question is related to it takes a village, and I believe in the idea of collaboration to reshape communities and create new ideas. So a question I ask all my guests at the end is, how do you, as a creative, as an artist, as an individual, how do you see collaboration for your art or for your cosplay?
Well, I kind of see like more like creative side. If you want to like make something impossible to do that. I mean, I just think myself like an open box around there. I haven't like an idea. Want to see like other people just like create for cosplays, or I want to try to plan something I would just like done before.
I also think you're already kind of doing that process now with collaboration with the TikToks, with the role playing kind of videos you do in TikTok. Like that's an amazing idea as well to do. So I think that's something you should definitely keep up. I mean, even if TikTok decides to get banned in the United States, hopefully Instagram Reels will allow you and the other cosplayers to do that more often.
Yeah, I just have to make my days count. Like, which one should I do? Like, lastly, if it's gonna like, ban it off for good. I mean, I actually like all the ones I recently done on my Google Drive, so I just like kept them in there, so just to keep like everything all memorable. I do all the cosplays I done, especially all the cosplay on Instagram too. I mean, I follow up to them, and they're doing a lot of progress.
No, that's great work to like keep all your stuff together. But Alex Delgado, aka Triforce Del Jeezy, I thank you so much for being here. Before you go, please let people know where they can find you and follow you.
Well, follow me on my Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, which I need to get back. I need to do a lot of more streaming video games to do that, but it's still in the process. I have my setup, like, the go, and yeah, it's like computer problems, like screen displaying, Twitter, TikTok. They even have a cosplay too. Just do a little more budget on my cosplays to do.
All right, so I have all those descriptions as well. You'll get them in the Instagram TV description as well. So Alex, I thank you so much. Please be on the lookout for him. Check him out. He's doing amazing cosplay things for the cosplay community and building that up as well. So thank you everyone for joining, and thank you to Alex.
Yeah.
Take care.
See ya.
All right, bye.